I'm Peter from the engineering team here at Miller Manufacturing Company. Today we're going to go over the Little Giant Deluxe Dome waters. We're going to review the contents of the kit, the proper assembly, and some troubleshooting tips. Included in your Deluxe Dome water will be the float assembly kit. Let's open it up and see what's inside. First off, you'll have the instruction sheet that shows the assembly diagram of how everything goes together. And then you have all of the contents. First up, we have the float housing and the float cover. You'll have your filter that catches any debris that enters your water. You'll have a float rod, and you'll have two float rod seals. We include an extra because it is a consumable, so if your first one wears out, you can swap in the spare. You will have the orifice and the wing nut. These two pieces may be pre-installed in your water depending on the model that you received. And then lastly, we have the blue float. Now we'll go over the assembly of your float kit. First thing you want to do is to take your float rod and install a float rod seal. It's very important that you fully seat the seal on the rod so you have good sealing onto the orifice. What this seal does is it controls your water flow, so as your water fills up, it'll shut off on the orifice. If you have problems with your water overflowing or leaking, the seal should be the first thing you should look at. Look for debris or wear, and if you see any of those, swap it out with the spare that's included. So you take your assembled float seal and install it into the float housing from the top, just like shown. From there, you want to take your float. This can be installed in two different directions. You can install with the point upward, and this will create a lower level water in your trough, or you could install it with the point downward, and this will actually increase the water level in your trough. So install the float and then snap on the cover. From here, we have a fully assembled float kit, and we will now install it into the water. Now we will be installing the assembled float kit into the water. First thing we want to do is take the orifice and the wing nut, and depending on your model, these may or may not be pre-installed, but if they are not, I will show you how to do that. You want to take your jug and your orifice and install that from the bottom. You then want to take your wing nut and from the inside thread that onto the orifice. It's important that you tighten the wing nut until it is snug, but be sure not to over tighten. Next, we want to take the assembled float kit and thread that onto the bottom of the orifice. Once again, make sure that is snug but not over tight. Last thing, we want to take the filter and install that on the inside of the orifice. This collects all of the dirt and debris that may get in your water. So if you have problems with your water not filling, pull this out, flush it out and clean it and reinstall. Now we nearly have a fully assembled water. All we have to do is place the jug back onto the base and install the cover. First thing, if you're having any trouble with your new waterer, go back in the video to watch to make sure it's properly assembled and all the parts are included. If you think some parts are missing or you have any further questions, contact our customer service team at the number on the screen. Now we're going to go over some troubleshooting tips. If you're having trouble with your water either not filling or overfilling, we're going to show you some things to look for. If your water seems to be overfilling or leaking, the first thing that we should check is the float assembly to make sure that is assembled correctly. Now we'll disassemble the float kit, make sure everything is assembled correctly and there are no issues. So you want to take your jug and just unscrew from the float housing, and your entire float kit will be removed. You want to check your orifice to make sure there's no damage on that surface. You can also check the condition of your float seal on the inside of your float kit. Make sure that's in good condition with no rips or tears or damage or debris. If there is damage to your seal, you can replace it with the spare that's included in your kit or contact customer service for a replacement. Another area to look for if your water is overflowing would be the float. So pull off the bottom cover of your float assembly and remove your float. Now inspect the inside to make sure there's no debris or interference, ensuring that your float can slide freely. If you think your water is filling too slowly or your water level is not high enough, you can pull out the float and set its position depending on which direction the point is directed. So if you have the point pointed downwards, that'll increase the water level in your water, and if you have it pointed upwards, that'll create the water level lower in your water. Now we'll go over a possible issue you could have with your water not filling or filling slowly. It is important to note that the first time you fill up your water with water, it can take up to 15 minutes to fully fill. So be patient, but if after that time it's still not filling, we'll show you a couple things to look for. First thing to look for inside of your jug is the filter on the bottom. This is intended to catch all the debris and dirt that may enter your water. So check this, make sure it's not plugged. If it is, it did its job and it needs to be cleaned. Another thing to check would be your orifice to make sure it is free and there's no obstructions. So to check that, we want to unscrew our float assembly and inspect the little hole at the bottom of your orifice. We want to make sure that is free and debris free. If there is debris, we can take a paper clip and poke that from the bottom to clear any blockages. After doing that, it's good to flush it with water to make sure all the debris escapes. We hope you found this video helpful. We went through some troubleshooting steps on your Little Giant Deluxe Dome water. If you're still having trouble, contact customer service through our website or call the number on the screen. So now get out there, have some fun, and do the hard work worth doing.